Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm joined now by our news partner, and that is WILDD, the Wisconsin Institute for Learning Disabilities and Dyslexia. Thank you so much for being here today, Ervin.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's nice to be here again.
Wonderful. And he is the executive director over at WILDD, and you experienced dyslexia yourself.
That's correct.
And I know that's something that you and Rich kind of dived into the last time that you guys talked, and I kind of just wanted to continue that conversation, and I think that's great for other people to hear who may be experiencing dyslexia, and it's good for them to hear that testimony from someone else. So what has been your experience in the educational system, and in particular high school, with dyslexia?
Yeah, getting through the elementary school was hard enough, but actually by the time I got to high school, I was so far behind because I couldn't read. I couldn't spell. I was embarrassed. And of course, all of the labels that you get as I was a behavior problem. So, the teachers pretty well had me labeled and convinced me that I was stupid. And so at age 16, I dropped out.
Wow.
I went into the military when I was 17. So I had a year break before I went into the military. But high school was pretty hard. I mean, when you really think about it, if you can't read and you're in high school and you're in the 9th grade, it's hard to imagine just how frightened I was to read out loud or to do anything academically within the educational setting. So it was difficult.
Now, did you know you had dyslexia at the time of high school?
No.
Wow.
But back then, back in the 60s, there's a lot of the baby boom generation that were never identified because actually the Public Law 94-142 didn't come out until 1977. And that's when they started identifying learning disabilities and dyslexia in the schools.
Wow.
So I dropped out when I was 16 in 1966. So I missed that part of the law that would have helped me. And education then taking 10 years from 1977 to 1988 to get caught up to find out what to do with those kiddos that couldn't read.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Wow, and I'm sure, like you said, what a scary time, to not have that be diagnosed and not sure what's going on with you, and it's nothing that was your fault, and especially too in schools and the education system, and it's fantastic now that we can diagnose that and we can help people with different organizations like yourself, not only whether it be educationally, but also I think on a more deeper level too, with the effects that has on yourself.
Absolutely.
And what was that like too, being an adult learner?
Well, while I was in service, I went to GED classes and a lot of things to help me get a better grade on my GT score in the military, but I failed at all of my educational endeavors while I was in the military. It took me 12 years to get my GED just by going year after year to guess on the test. And then I finally, in 1980, correctly guessed all of the answers that I needed. I got a 45.6% on my GED, so I got my diploma in 1980.
Wow, 12 years.
12 years of just going back and retrying and guessing at the answers and so on. So, yeah.
Talk about perseverance. Goodness gracious, wow. So when did you end up being diagnosed with dyslexia?
In 1982, when I was in college, UW-Oshkosh.
Okay.
And long story short, my VA counselor said, you're failing, you got to keep your good grades up or you can't get funded. He kind of saw the hard work I was doing, so he sent me over to the testing center. And I got tested and found out I had dyslexia. And at that point, I wasn't reading above the 3rd grade level.
Wow. And
when I was 32.
Was it a relief, in a sense, to find out, that it...
Oh, it was. I cried. And the psychologist, Dr. Glica, says, well, Irv, I didn't mean to... I said, no, I'm not crying. I'm happy because I finally have a reason or knowing what's going on. Sure. I mean, just telling yourself you're stupid just isn't good enough through, 32 years of your life. I mean,
sure.
But now there's an answer, and there was somebody that can do something about it, and somebody taught me to read at the college.
Wow.
So that's a good thing.
So going from there, kind of what has been your journey?
Well, my journey has been, there's 2 sides to my life, the blue side and the happy life. And it's learning how to read that got me into education I was a special ed teacher for 30 years.
Wow.
And now I've opened a nonprofit to help people who struggle like I did to learn how to read.
Wonderful. And ran out of time, but we could talk probably for quite a long time about this, and such a powerful story, and I really appreciate you sharing it, because that's going to mean a lot to a lot of people. Maybe you're going through something totally different, to just know, you know, don't give up and seek out help when you can.
You bet.
Thank you so much, Ervin,
advice.
for being here. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And that's our news partner, WILDD, and Talk of the Town will be back right after this.